welcome back to this review and commentary episode of That Time I Got Reincarnated. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Episode number 11. Gabiru is here. Basically, I really enjoy I enjoy every episode of this anime, but it just keeps, it's what, even though you've got some animes that are good, there's some kind of lulls in the story sometimes. You encounter, some ups and downs in the storyline. One week it's good, one week it's not. It's really rare to get an anime where every week I am completely satisfied and I want more. It's got the perfect blend of everything: comedy, sexiness, just these, sci-fi. It's just a well-done anime. I really enjoy this one. It is, without a doubt, my favorite this anime season. Hands down. I mean, there's the closest that could come near this one would be Goblin Slayer, and I also enjoy that one. But I think I enjoy this one a little bit more. At the beginning of this episode, we get to finally see, he's using his he's building things. He's building more modern things. He's not just building things. He's building like modern houses. And you see all the, the village is actually working. He is building a huge town, a modern town. You can tell by the design. I mean, these are like, current, regular, everyday, modern day houses. It's, so evidently he's working with the town. They haven't revealed that, but it's obvious from, that he's had some involvement. He's told them what to build, and kind of worked with them, and it's obvious he's building a a modern city within this. Even though there's people that have come to this world, they more or less have just been integrated by this world. Well, Rimuru is actually doing the opposite. He is more or less, changing this world into his own design. And that's the cool thing about his character. Not in a bad way. He's just, he's making things better. As we can see, the town people are working together. People that would have ever thought to be, seen together, much less working together, working along, alongside each other, building this town and happily doing it. And we get to see more of, and case in point, Suwana. I think her name is Suwana. I can't remember. Maybe I'm mispronouncing that, but she's a cutie pie. I'm sorry. She is, for an ogre, she's a cutie pie. And she is, they're all, using their various skills and trying to make the town better. And I like the way you get to see in this episode that not only do they get along really well. And they play off each other. It's like almost like a family unit. They're truly, all cogs in this machine that's working that Rimuru has set up in this town. And they really are working together to improve things majorly. And I love the part with Cheyenne. I like the part with Cheyenne. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She's like now his unofficial secretary. She kind of totes him around, and he's even kind of laughing about it. And evidently, these two really don't like each other. They almost they like each other, but they kind of get jealous. They're almost like jealous sisters, like fighting over the same boyfriend or something. That part was hilarious. I mean, I love the part where he actually, he thinks in his head of her as a secretary. I don't know, in the credits, you get to see her dressed up like that. So I don't know if some point, if she's going to start dressing like that, or if that's just what he envisions in her head, because she even calls herself his secretary. And she's got that look. And by the way, she looks fine. That's a really nice look. Nice tall girl, glasses, sharp, strong. Do not mess with her. Yes, she knows what she's doing. She's somebody you don't want to mess with. And like you said, she's an excellent bodyguard. I would not want to mess with her. Yeah. I just love that part. And I love the part where they're fighting over him, and they're like almost like he's like they're turning him into dough, or like a towel, they're pulling him like tug of war-ish, and he's kind of enjoying it, but at the same time he's not. And the guys are over there, looking like, oh, I'm so jealous. That's like every viewer in the audience is probably thinking the same thing, like, if only I could be fought over like that. I mean, it's just hilarious. They're just like, stroking their chest like, oh, yes, yes. If only they could be us. Um, but that part where the tug of war part, that was hilarious. I mean, they're not really fighting; they're fighting over him. It's obvious they both really enjoy, really love him and really just want to be with him, and they really want to be more than just his leader. It's obvious at this point, which is kind of ironic because when they first met him, they were trying to kill him, and now they're like, fighting over how to serve and like help him out. It's pretty well done. I really enjoy those two characters. I really enjoy those two characters. They really make this anime even more fun. I mean, this anime is very good, but I love the part where she also is walking around, like I said, as her secretary / bodyguard, and she goes up to Hakaru. He goes up to Hakaru and the rest of them, and they're more or less like, "Hey, what you doing here? Hey, Shiron is going to make me a meal," and they're all like, their faces go from happy to like, like what, like, no, I got things to do. And they all start like shifting and going away. He asked, Rimuru asked them like, "Hey, do you guys want to eat with me?" And like, they all get this like horrified look on their face, like, "No, like, no, I passed, not hungry." Like, and they all just start like leaving, disappearing, and at this point, like, Rimuru is like catching on. Hey, something's up. If you see this, it's obvious that she cannot cook, and he's catching. He kind of don't want to admit it, but he realizes this. And like, uh-oh, I made a mistake. I'm not gonna get this well prepared meal. I'm gonna get this horrible meal. He already catches on. Like, just judging by their reaction is priceless. And sure enough, she brings in the meal, happily sits it down, and this is like this like mutated like radioactive like waste. Like, it looks like something like I don't know, like some radioactive monster like pooped out. Like, it's like bubbling. It's got like faces in it. It's like it's got this rainbowy like radioactivity energy thing going. It's like living, pulsating. It's horrible. You can tell it is literally liquid poison. It's like it's living poison. Well, anyway, he's trying to figure out, and I love how they're just sitting there casually, and Rimuru is like, "You bastards!" Like, he realizes, like, they left me hanging and did not warn me. And I love the part where the old man's just like, he's sitting there drinking his drink. He's trying to like erase his presence. He's like half invisible, almost like that part was hilarious. But they're all just sitting there casually drinking, waiting for him to try it because they know what's going to happen. And sure enough, Rimuru is like rethinking this, like, and even the little, I forgot the little, I don't want to call it program, but is, what do you call it? Anyway, I'll call him his little assistant, whatever. The voice assistant he's always talking to, and I cannot remember the name of it. Anyway, he is literally sitting there with the poison, like, like, and even it's warning him, like, it tells him a way out. Like, it's like telling him, hold it up, and throw your arm out to the right or the left. I don't forgot. But anyway, when he does that, all of a sudden, like, Gobta comes into the room and he like takes a bite full of it. Like, it goes right in his mouth, and he like automatically just eats it. Like, starts like, like keeling over and like turning colors and dies supposedly. By this point, like, Rimuru was like, "Nope, I'm not eating this," and like, "You guys should be ashamed of yourself." Like, but the look on everybody's face when he like eats it, and like falls over and keels over, that was priceless. Eventually, we get to skipped over to the part where they announced that the lizardmen are here. Gabiru, I believe that was his name. He shows up. And by the way, that guy is like ass hat. He is like a ham. Even though he's a lizard man, he is a ham. He might as well be he is a complete, like, just self-centered, like, politician type, just world and you're living in it type dude, and his people aren't much better because they're total roadies. They almost got like a band, like like he's like a like this devia type dude, and these guys are acting like they're like roadies or something. Like, they're just like worshiping the ground he's on and doing everything, like praising him every 5 minutes. They're his yes men. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, it's kind of sickening. And even sure enough, like even the part, I love the part with the mirror. He's talking and he's got this light shining on him. Like, what the? And then you pull back and you see that they're actually holding mirrors for him. That part was hilarious. And they're all just like clapping and all this. Yeah, yeah. And it's like they're like, yeah, it's like they've got this like, yeah, they're just totally into this dude. And like, they're in this total fan club. They literally like their leader. And little they know, you know, and eventually as our, you know, like, you know, Rimuru is like sitting there. Usually he keeps his calm. He keeps his, you know, but even he is getting like, you know, and even, you know, Rimuru, even at this point, is like, you know, he is, he usually keeps his calm and everything, but he is even getting very aggravated. You know, I love the scene where he's looking at, you know, the, what's his name? The, Gabiru. The lizardmen eventually notice that, wait a minute, I thought you said this was like a, you know, a small village of like, you know, of goblins. Well, you know, they get to doing an inventory of like, you know, they're all huge, over muscled, and like these guys are like pretty strong guys, you know. And I love it also when he goes to Shinron and he looks and he goes, wow. Like he was right at their breast, like, wow. It's like he like locks in. That was hilarious. And I love the scene where the you know, oh, what is his name? The wolf, Ranga. He pops in and like in his super wolf form, you know, his true form, and he's standing there like towering over the guy. The guy, everybody else is cowering, but to his credit, even, you know, everybody notices like Gabiru, you know, he must be kind of a little bit of a warrior, because he like stands eye to eye with this guy and just talking to him casually. I mean, most people are like super freaked out, but he is kind of standing his ground. But then again, maybe he's just an idiot, you know, like Rimuru, you know, brings up. He's just maybe really stupid. But finally, anyway, Gobta shows up, and he's more or less like, hey, well, guys, what's going on? You know, like, he always does that. He's always, like, kind of carefree and careless, and eventually he gets pushed into the battle, you know, and sure enough, you know, he gets talked into it, you know, like, Rimiru's like, hey, you win this, I'll give you a weapon. He's like, all right, that really doesn't motivate me. I'll make you eat Shimron's food again. Like, he goes into, like, Super Saiyan mode, which is hilarious. And she's sitting there like scrunching, you know, like she's like squishing Rimuru, and like just like, this is not making me happy. That was hilarious. Yeah, when he goes into the Super Saiyan mode, that's awesome. It's just funny. Boosh, I'm ready. And sure enough, it turns out he's like quite the warrior, and he has picked up a lot of skills. And he's not a complete idiot. He's actually kind of a prodigy. He's picked up a lot of skills, and he's actually quite the warrior. He doesn't look it, but he's actually, you know, pretty good. He takes out the guy, and they're all like impressed. And even Rimuru is like, wow, you know, like I thought he was a complete idiot, but apparently, you know, he got to really thinking about it. You know, he actually has survived a lot of dangerous situations. So good on you, Gobta. You know, I thought you was an idiot too, but and then finally we get to see the then we finally get to see I don't forgot the guy's name, not Haruku. The other guy, the guy I'm showing on the screen, and one of the ogres, and I cannot remember his name. Anyway, he split himself into many, you know, like little cloned after images of himself, and he's standing on a tree, and he's watching this like invasion, this like Mexican invasion style, like you know, like of this invading army, and they're like of the orcs. This invasion of the orc army, you know, they're huge by now, and he's just observing this, and he goes back and reports that, you know, their position and everything. They're trying to have like a powwow of like, you know, what are we gonna do, you know, and before they can do that, you know, the ogre more or less reports like, wait a minute, you know, I'm being contacted by one of my after images, being contacted by this dryad, which I had to look it up. Which I had to look this up. A dryad is like a forest nymph. It was like a elf type thing, as you'll see in a minute. And he says she wants to you know, have a conversation with you. And he's like, oh, excited, and he's visually thinking of this like in his head. It's like nothing quite like what she appears like, but in his head it's like super sexy. You know, he's like thinking like, yeah, I want to see her. You know, after seeing that image, I want to see her too. But anyway, eventually she shows up. She kind of like, the minute he says, okay, I want to see her, she instantly pops up into like almost like she merges almost like within the table, and that was awesome. And she more or less has a conversation with him. And bottom line, she kind of wants you know, the Rimuru to she speaks nice to him, but she basically wants him to and it mentions her name. Her name is Treyni, and she wants him to defeat the Orc Lord, and that's pretty much how it goes off. You know, I'm kind of really excited about this, and you know, obviously she recognizes he's very strong, and he's a good guy, and I gotta say it. This episode had everything. It had the humor, had the action, it had just everything I enjoy about this anime. The sexiness, everything, all the jokes, the humor, everything works in this anime. I really enjoy it. Anyway, looking forward to the next episode. I enjoyed this episode. That's all for now. If you enjoy these review and commentaries, please like them and please subscribe. That's all for now. Catch you next time.